Welcome to Unit 6 of EDSE 510. Looking forward to reviewing all of your interview assignments. Thanks for your hard work on those. My hope is that the interview process was helpful for you to gain a different perspective, get some insights. Oftentimes we see issues and concepts through our own lens only, and we don't understand what things might look like from somebody else's point of view unless we really are intentional about talking with them, and their perspectives may surprise us. So my hope is that you were able to learn something new from your interview. Unit 6 focuses on two different topics. There's ESSA, the Every Student Succeeds Act, and the previous forms of this act, and there will be some compare and contrast in this unit. And in the beginning, and perhaps the largest area of focus in this unit, is the concept of conflict in special education, the rights of parents, guardians, and families, the process of mediation, and litigation if necessary, best ways to prevent and address conflict in special education. Take a look at the course schedule, and you'll see for Unit 6, we have two different assignments due at the end of the unit, and this is a 1-week unit. So these will be due on the final Sunday of our unit at 11:59 p.m., that last day of the unit. The You Be the Judge assignment is one of the most important assignments in our course, and it's a really neat opportunity for us to interpret law, take a look at the difference between statutory and case law, and really demonstrate that understanding through synthesis and expression of a decision in a legal case presented to you as the judge. So rather than just reviewing what another judge has come up with, you'll get the opportunity to step into those shoes. Take a look at the detail of the case, the evidence, and make a decision, and then provide support for your decision. And the ESSA assignment is a smaller assignment, it's 10 points. Take a look at that together here in this video as well. But the prompts for that are pretty brief and straightforward. The majority of your attention will be going to the You Be the Judge assignment, and there is not a discussion this week. But in our next unit, we will be back on the discussion board. So this page provides you some introductory information on due process, conflict in special education. One of the most important websites for us to review in this unit is called Cadre, which is the Center for Appropriate Dispute Resolution in Special Education. So please do review all the information and the links provided here. But Cadre is going to be one of the most important websites that you look at. I would say the best place to start is to go to the Cadre Continuum, and you'll see what Cadre has to offer for resources for schools, districts, families. In particular, Cadre focuses on strategies that schools and districts can use to reduce conflict or to prevent it in the first place. So for instance, obviously, family engagement builds trust, allows parents, families, or guardians to feel like a part of the team, that their voice is heard, that the school and the providers truly do have the best interest of their child in mind. And as you scroll down here, you'll see many different examples of what various states are doing to develop that family engagement. So for instance, let's link to what Maryland is doing to engage families. Then you can just go through and see what kinds of programming they have in place. Some different family support centers, resources, and ideas that are provided by that particular state, the schools there. So this goes on for several different links, and you'll see others as well here. It's just important that you do review some of these and get a feel for the resources that Cadre has to offer. And you'll see next that obviously, although we do implement everything we can to prevent conflict from coming up and causing problems, to build those trusting foundations in our relationships with parents, families, and guardians, disagreement does occur. So, in this stage, when families are disagreeing, what can be done? There are a couple different ideas included here for ways to reduce and diffuse some of this, and resources for parents advocates. So you'll see again, these go by state, just showing us what different states do, what they have in place to help inform and support schools and families. And this will go on for each stage. Basically, we're seeing what options we have as things get more tense or the conflict levels get higher. Procedural safeguards. So at this point, we're talking about what kinds of legal processes can start to occur. Part of that would be a due process hearing, and these cases can and do go to court. Later in this unit, we will take a look at an option where you can review cases that have gone to court. And of course, the You Be the Judge assignment is an opportunity for you to practice based on your learning from both case law and statutory law. So here we are with options for litigation and how this might look. Help us to understand kind of where we shake out here at the end if none of these options have been able to reduce the conflict and satisfy the situation and cause things to work out more smoothly. So Cadre is a great resource. Please do use it, access it, take a look at it just to understand the progression of all of this. And there's a document here in the unit also from Dr. Francie Murray with UNC. She has written this document to support providers in schools in how to best avoid going to court for special education litigation, and B, how to really proactively support students and engage and collaborate with families, because if that is our ultimate objective and we're doing all we can to go above and beyond in doing that for each child every time, it will reduce the odds of a court case, as it says, solid documentation. Very important. This can be time consuming, but it is absolutely worth the effort. Documenting service times, documenting communication, using whatever system has been provided to you or encouraged for use by the district. Making sure that you're saving emails, printing things out. Some of the email systems have archive options where you can keep them even if they're not in your inbox, or you can sort them into a folder. Making sure that if you have a phone meeting, you take clear and careful notes. Even doing that meeting on speakerphone with an administrator or another relevant provider in the room can be helpful just for accountability to keep everybody in the circle of communication. Least restrictive environment, obviously, this is best practice, and this is the root of special education, is to provide that LRE for every student every time. But as number 2 said, be creative. Don't just go by the letter and then say, oh, this cannot happen, we cannot do this. Try to find ways to meet the needs of the student, even if it's not exactly what has been requested. Think about other ways we can do it if something's not feasible. How can we meet that need in a different way? How can we really serve that student in the best way possible? So do keep in mind these different suggestions, planning ahead for the meeting. Very important. Writing your goals correctly. We've had some discussion about goals in previous units, but do keep that in mind, because goals that are written correctly help us to go along for progress monitoring with more accuracy. And progress monitoring data is a very important part of demonstrating reasonable growth. That growth can help us to justify our decisions to keep or adjust, change, or discontinue an IEP goal as we're continuing to plan for programming for the student. Now, obviously, discipline, manifestation, determination, very important to remain in compliance with all of these policies. Look ahead, count the days if we are coming up in that suspension point where we're going to need to do a manifestation determination. Please do not let that slide. Do not get to day 10 without realizing that you have. It's very important to be on top of those things and just checking those throughout the school year. So please do review this document. Many options, and once again here, building that trust, maintaining communication. Remember, parents, families, or guardians generally know the child better than any of us in the school setting, and we need to give them that respect. Obviously, that's very important for their role, and we don't want parents to feel uncomfortable or outnumbered, but rather to really feel supported and to reduce that anxiety, and that can help to reduce conflict and tension as well. You'll see here we've got more information. Mediation. The Department of Education does provide a pamphlet here that you can review about mediation. Just some different options for dispute resolution, conflict resolution. Here's the Cadre site. Again, just make sure that you have that link. And this is an article for you regarding EDSE and an enormous amount of information on updates. So please do keep this in mind. We are always working to change and improve these various laws. Make sure that programming is the most effective. So that'll just give you some more information here as well. You can see some historical information, the different acts, and this will be helpful to you as you are working on the EDSE assignment in this unit. So please do review that. Another important note, statutory versus case law. Keep in mind, statutory is the written letter of the law within the documents that we've reviewed in this course. The law that can be cited, and we can say, here is a sentence or sentences that directly address the question that we have in our minds, and this is how we know what the law says. That is the statutory law. The case law is for instances when either the law does not specifically or clearly address a situation, or the law requires some further interpretation, and there are some nuances perhaps that aren't clearly spoken to within that statutory law. And a judge will make a decision, and then those court cases can be referenced in future similar situations and used as case law. So please keep in mind the value of understanding the differences between those two. You'll need to address both of them in the You Be the Judge assignment. Here is the EDSE assignment. It's quite straightforward. As I said, just 10 points. This will be roughly 1 page. You'll just need to review the EDSE materials and the history of that act, and then to find 4 resources that are addressing ESEA and the changes which have brought us to the point of EDSE. So you're taking a look at the changes to the original act and sources that think that they're positive changes, and then you're also looking for sources that present disagreement with that. So you want reliable and credible sources, and then you'll conclude by explaining why your selected sources are credible. The last important thing for us to review here is the You Be the Judge assignment. It's very clearly described here in the prompt and in the rubric. So please let me know if you've got questions, but we're looking at roughly 3 to 5 pages double-spaced, and you want to make sure that you respond to every question in You Be the Judge. So you'll be presented with a lengthy case here. You'll be able to review all of the information, get familiar with the situation, and then you'll be presented with these issue questions. So becoming quite familiar with the case by reading and reviewing it, you will then cite state or federal law, regulation. You'll cite those statutory laws, and you will cite case law as well. So keep in mind on the rubric, we need regulations and case law. Okay. And your yellow text can help you out a lot with that. So this is one of our most important assignments for the course. Please let me know if you have questions. Look forward to continuing to work with you all this unit.